Welcome to She Wears the Pants, the podcast where women build companies that can hold their calling. I'm your host, Ashley Deland, business advisor, multi-business founder, and startup investor, guiding women to scale with structure, strategy, and self-mastery. Every week, we go behind the scenes of high-growth, women-led brands to talk about the real work, the identity evolution, the leadership required, and the strategy that actually sustains success. If you're ready to build a business and life you love, you're in the right room. All right, welcome to She Wears the Pants. Today, our amazing guest is Olivia Fernie. Olivia leads the marketing department for Top Tier Travel, an amazing company that specializes in luxury accommodations from high-end hotels to private penthouse and arranges stays for everyone from executives to artists. She now blends her love of marketing, entrepreneurship, and travel together to create her dream job. So Olivia, welcome, my love. It's so nice to have you.
Thank you. I am not wearing pants very often these days, as my Zoom calls are usually, my pajama shorts. But for you, I put my work pants on because she wears the pants.
Getting into the vibe of it.
Interesting. Yes, yes.
I love that. Okay, so Olivia, I met you at Maison. You are a fellow Canadian, and we instantly bonded. That was easy. You had owned a very successful company in Canada. Now you are located in beautiful Miami. I'm looking at that sun through your window. Oof.
Yo.
What a horrible decision. So can you start off with telling us a bit about your background and how you got started as a very powerful female entrepreneur?
Yeah, this is, and I don't tell this candid story very often, but as I'm sure we'll get into as I've had the recent exit from my last company, I will be very honest about how I got started. Since I was a kid, I have just been a little nuts. I had my first charity showcase when I was in grade 4, raising a ton of money. Like as a child, I just did all this crazy stuff. And I think that was I think a business person could look at that kid and be like, okay, obviously she's got that drive to just like do the ridiculous things, go out and go get it for herself. So I think I was always meant for this kind of nuts life of entrepreneurialism. But my first business, and I did a few little things. I had a few little jewelry brands, small ventures that did not pan out, obviously. But the first time that I really had a business take off was Just Live Social. And that company started because I wanted free lip injections.
Nice.
There's nothing else to it. Yeah. That is what happened. I'm not cheap about a lot, but certain beauty things are really expensive. And my girlfriends were getting lip filler, and it's like $500 for a syringe of lip filler. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not paying for that. I'm in university, well, just leaving high school actually. And so I reached out to a spa and said, hey, I'm a marketing student. I think I can run some successful campaigns for you guys if you guys just do, free lip filler. And that's how it started. We ran a campaign that was astronomically successful, like more than I could have ever imagined. And then from there, things just kind of blew up. I think people heard my name really quickly. That company hired me pretty much full time. And then I had to grow my team. It was one of those things like, you always expect the business that you're building to, happen in a certain way. And this company was not something I ever expected to own or, let alone be successful. And then it just kind of exploded, and it almost felt like I fell into things. And I feel very lucky and blessed that it happened that way, but it's a good lesson to just know, like, sometimes life is going to smack you in the face in the weirdest way. And sometimes it's lip filler. You don't know. That's kind of how my business got started. And I don't share that story very often, but here it is.
I love it. I love it. And you eventually scaled to exit for a lot of money. So now you have all the cash flow for the lips. So
now we have all the cash flow for the lips. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, we're good. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I did read on a bio that you started your first charitable organization at the age of 15. And I was like, I love that she just had that entrepreneurial spirit, because as you mentioned already a few times, like, you have to be a little bit crazy to be an entrepreneur. There's no doubt about that.
You have to be nuts.
You have to be nuts. The hours are so long. It is lonely. It can be really, really trying at a lot of times, and you have to trust yourself, all cards on the table at every moment in time. But then, sometimes one pivot can lead into owning your business and then exiting and scaling for, I don't even know, 7, 8+ figures, I'm sure. So when you had all of those initial startups and I would say failures, talk to me about your mindset now around failure.
That is, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. It's and we'll dive into this, I'm sure, as we continue to talk today. The biggest thing that I've been pushing on everyone is like how tough this can be, because we are fed that, and you will hear, if you know me at all, I'd probably bring this up once a day to people, because we are fed so much nonsense about like this girl boss stuff.
Yeah.
Like we every single day, it's just, and nothing against the girl boss culture. I love, like, go kick ass, women. Let's go get it. But the fact of like, you need to start your own business, scale it to 7, 8, 9 figures by the time you're 27 years old, and have a family and do what you want to do and travel and save and invest is absolute BS.
Yep.
Like that is next to impossible. The odds of you doing that are like winning the lottery. You might actually have a better chance at winning the lottery than doing that by that age. It
Yeah.
is so difficult. And we're fed like all these girls in Porsches on Instagram are like, oh my God, it's so easy. Just do this, take this course, do this. Like it's not simple. And you are going to fail so many times. Like I have spent so much time, and I'm young. I'm very blessed that it happened this way, but I also got, I got very lucky to have a very big support system. And I started really, really young. Most people don't start until their 30s, their 40s, their 50s. Like, and there's never a good time to start, as long as you do start whenever you want to, make that dream happen. But those failures are inevitable and they're going to suck, but they get so much easier every single time. And I noticed it now, like I'm feeling so blessed out of the boss role, because I really struggled being a boss. I am not good at getting mad at people. And you got to have that. I think a lot of women struggle with that too. We're not great, overall as a gender sometimes at being like the aggressor and really being able to draw those lines. We're very compassionate, we're very empathetic, and being able to get mad at people is very tough for some of us. So that's, part of entrepreneurialism that people don't talk about. So, there's going to be lots of failures you're going to find. There's going to be lots of things that you just can't do and you might not understand why. And it's just going to suck. But like slowly after a million beat downs, they start to not feel as bad. And that's just part of it. Like there is no skipping that. I mean, unless you come from like $1 billion and your family can help you, skip the first 10 years of your growth, like you're going to get beat down and it's going to suck, but eventually it gets better.
That's really it. I think you really pinpointed two major things here, which is one, women do have a hard time using your voice and getting that asked because we're called a bitch otherwise, right? I don't even know how many times I have been told, as well as multiple of my, different business partners, I've been told you have like really male energy, like your masculine energy. And I'm like, what does that mean to you? Like, what are you actually saying behind the scenes? Like that I'm a bitch. And I take it as a huge compliment now because I know how to balance both. But it's true. We have been conformed into so many ways. And especially like the girl boss era, the expectations are so high. And for
Yep.
anybody who is not meeting those ridiculous, ridiculous revenue to looks to projections, it's another way of showing us and making us feel like we're not good enough. And I think that this is a really important narrative because it's actually the first narrative that we've had on this podcast where the expectations are just set a little bit too high and it's making us feel inadequate.
And it's the crazy thing is it's women doing it to ourselves sometimes too. Like we love to blame men for stuff a lot of the times, which is, they've done their fair share of bad things. And it is always tough to beat that glass ceiling for women, but we're doing it. And I am totally, totally responsible for doing it myself. Like when I started my company about 2 years in, my TikTok started taking off because I was doing a lot of those TikToks. But I'm like, in some of them, I'm driving my parents' cars. I'm, in my neighbor's house taking a video, and, subconsciously I'm not thinking about it. But now looking back, like, how fair is that to the 17-year-old girl that's like really struggling to pay her university? That's, thinking, oh, I can do this if I just buy this ebook, if I just do this thing. Like, it's not as simple, and nothing's quick. We're fed this like image of instant gratification constantly now, and we're just making these like it's just not possible. A lot of this is not possible. And I think we're doing it to ourselves a lot of the time. So just anyone listening, be aware, just hold yourself accountable to what you're seeing and what's being fed to you and realize that that's not necessarily how the world works. No, it is not how the world works.
Yeah. And we're also like, now that I'm thinking about you saying this, I'm 10 years older than you. And we're also generationally cursing all of our sisters, right? By saying, like, these are new expectations to meet. Like, have to make 7, 8 and scale on top of looking perfect. And, I really love the fact that you just said, I didn't like being a boss, because there's going to be so many women listening that are putting their hands up and being like, me too. Like, you have to evolve and elevate and pivot into this different role that might actually not be authentic to your personality or to your belief system. Talk to me about that a little bit. Like, what was the moment where you were like, this is not for me?
I want to say maybe 4 years in, it started to so we had an acquisition that fell through probably about 2 years ago. That was a nightmare. And I remember having to get everything in order. There was a few things. So first off, the people that were interested in taking over the company, it was a huge scam. Like I almost lost a ton of money. Thank God, again, great circle around me. I was protected. But those people really were like hyping me up to get everything ready. So I was focused on being that person that was going to get this company ready for sale. And then at the same time, I needed to get all of my stuff in order for this sale. So, all of the accounting, all of my employee records, all of our business proposals, our revenue, like all the books and all the works had to be prepared. And I remember sitting there, and I have a marketing degree with a minor in finance, and I still had no idea what I was doing. I felt so stupid. I felt so defeated. And I was not doing what I liked at all. Nothing made me happy for about 6 months, even getting new sales. And I've realized now, like you look at yourself if you're a business owner, and you're gonna have to do it all. I hate to say it. Like there's no, unless you have a ton of cash flow ready to go, you are gonna have to do the works for your business. And for me, it was like the whole the whole process was so irritating. The only thing that made me feel whole was when I closed a deal, which made me realize that I was a salesperson, not a
Mm,
boss. I was a
nice.
salesperson going in and meeting new people and, having that charismatic pull between, two people trying to sell to each other, closing the deal. Like that gives me endorphins, like something, there's no drug on the planet can make me feel that way. So that's when, and it took years to realize that. But now I'm like, I'm not meant to be a boss. I can have that every day in a really like high paid sales job. So I'm going to go do that. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to still do what I love and get paid like, more and more and more as the years go on. And, that's such an important thing to realize. Like, if it's not bringing you joy, I hear that all the time too. If it's bringing you joy 10% of the time, it's worth it. Like, probably not.
Yeah.
Being
Okay.
miserable 90% of the time is pretty shitty. I don't know a lot of people that would sign up for that, especially to likely go broke for the first 5 to 15 years of your business. You're going to be putting out your own money to not be, enjoying your time. And I think that's just like nuts. I think it's crazy.
Okay, so tap in. You have a degree in marketing and a major in finance.
Sorry,
Wow.
minor in finance.
Minor in finance. And I went to school for business as well, like 4 point something GPA, obviously majored in marketing. And what you said, I feel the same way, that we both owned and built, scaled, exited very successful businesses. And you still, if you have a business background, marketing background, finance background, you still at moments are like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I don't know how to do this. So literally giving permission to everybody out there who's like, I don't know how to do this. Like, when did I sign up to be customer service and sales and accounting and finance? Just know that even if you are accredited, it's still so freaking difficult to do. So I love that you said that.
Yeah, I don't understand who's fully grasping all of you go, girl. If you are handling if your books are super clean and your marketing's fabulous and your employees love you, like I am so jealous. I'm so kicking ass. Keep it up. But I will like just a side note for anybody listening that needs help with those things, and you all do, don't lie to yourself.
Mhm.
Fiverr is a phenomenal tool. The things like Fiverr. Go on there, girl, get yourself a bookkeeper, get yourself an accountant, get yourself a marketing like liaison, get yourself a executive assistant. Like, and these people are across the world charging pennies,
Yeah.
just to get your stuff in order, have somebody keep track of your bank accounts. Because like odds are, as you scale too, there are months I've gone back and I can't do anything about it now because I don't have those clients anymore, and I'm missing like 20, 30 grand from a client. I'm like, oh, that would have been great if that didn't come out
Yeah.
of my bank account, but it's fine. And if you have those people in place, it might not seem that important, but then, taxes take you 4 hours instead of 7 days at the end of the year. You become a more, I don't know, just organized and efficient company if you have those things in place. So check out that if you guys need help and you don't have the money to necessarily hire people in-house or within Canada, outsource.
Yeah, Fiverr's great for sure. A delegation is such a key in order to succeed. It's not even funny. My biggest thing is that I always tell my clients, like, you are the boss when you own your own business. And then if you're smart about it, you start to hire people that are more and more and more intelligent than you and specializes in your weaknesses so that one day you're looking at your business and you're having all of them operate it while you can step away. Like that's actually the secret to success here is delegation and hiring people that love
Yeah.
to hate, like the strengths
But
to your.
don't you find that, like, did you find that so difficult? Like, I just never
Oh,
was able to comprehend that someone could do a better job than I could at my task, which is just ego yelling at you. But I'm like,
mine
she's
was
not gonna do it. She's not gonna do it. She's not gonna get it.
exactly. Yeah, it is. I have a team of five now that I've had for over 5 years. Mine was finding the right people. I
Yeah.
was all about like, come on here and help me. But even with the restaurants, the juice bars, the yoga studios, like every business that I've built, scaled, and exited, it's always been the support system, the staff, the employees has been the most difficult challenge. And I think it always will be. Right now, I'm blessed to hell with the women that I have supporting me in all three businesses. But yeah, it took 5 years. So, like, if you're tripping
Yeah.
up on finding the wrong people initially, like, it's very, very, very common.
Oh, totally. And I mean, it got me good a few times. The first few big hires I did, and people are, side note, but people are getting very too big for their bridges right now out of university, and everyone expects a six-figure salary and they don't want to work very hard for it.
Mhm.
So I'm all good. I'll pay you what you're worth, but you need to prove to me that you're worth it. And these so many, and I've only ever had women in my business. We've never had a guy work for us. And that has its own set of problems that I won't even get into. But
Sure.
I've there's so many times I'm like, I trust my gut. I think this girl's amazing. I'm so happy to hire her. And then she ends up stealing, or she ends up, working three other jobs at the same time and not actually clocking her hours, or she's having her parents clock her hours. Like, seen it all. And those moments of, hiring is a disaster. We can both agree it's such a tough thing. But being able to, when you think you're a person that trusts your gut and you hire and that person hurts you, it's like a breakup, but worse because now you're down money as well.
Down money, and also you are going back on your intuition. You're questioning yourself and your intuition, which is like the worst. It's
Right.
the worst feeling. Yeah.
Uh,
What was the moment for you that you knew that you had to exit?
I think it was the multiple times that I've gotten close. We've had a few owners come in and leave throughout the years. And every time that I got close to that like feeling of leaving, I felt really happy. And that kind of, after a few times of that, I'm like, all right, I think that my journey here is done. I will say, leaving my team, the girls that have been with me since we were like in high school, right? So some of these girls were like grade 8, grade 7, and are now, graduating university. We've been together for so long, we're like family, and leaving them with other people was so difficult. But I had a few of their parents call me separately and stuff and just thank me. And I just feel so blessed that like hopefully that was able to help them jumpstart their careers and they have some experience, like great experience. And yeah, so that whole part of it was just so tough. Like I hated leaving them, but it felt like time. And I started to get this magical gut feeling every time I came to Miami, the last few trips I've done. And then I was like, all right, I think my head, my heart, my stomach, my feet, everything in between, like it's time to get the hell out of here and start a new chapter. So
So you literally packed up and left and was just like, here I come, Miami, with no
Here
plan.
with
Nice.
yeah, no plan. And at the time, so my current boss I met at a hilarious event in Miami called Model Volleyball, which is just as Miami as it sounds. A bunch of really beautiful girls who are super skinny and like 6'5" playing volleyball. It might be for charity, it might not. I have no idea. But we met and I loved the concept of the business. And at the time I was nowhere near ready to do it. But then I followed up afterwards and was like, all right, I'm coming. You don't have a choice. You're hiring me. I'll see you in a few weeks. And then got my visa and came over.
That's a smart recruitment on his behalf, huh?
Right? Yes.
I love that. So ultimately, like you really are paving the way for that younger generation of entrepreneurs. So for all of the, 20 to 30-year-olds listening to this podcast right now who are entering the world or in the thick of entrepreneurship, what advice would you give them?
That's so much pressure. I love this. Okay. Ladies, 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 stop stressing yourself out so much. You are not in a rush. You do not need to be a millionaire tomorrow. You do not need to be a billionaire in 10 years. Just enjoy every second. If you're not enjoying the pain and the suffering of entrepreneurship, get out, get a different job. It's going to suck. It might not be worth it. But if you're having fun and you're enjoying, just keep going. Don't listen to what everybody else is telling you and just don't rush. Like take some time. Go get drunk. Go out with your friends. Enjoy. Don't spend every waking moment on your phone because you will never get your 20s back. You will never get your 30s back. You will never get your 40s back. Enjoy your life and just keep trying your best. You don't need to live up to all these unrealistic standards.
Oh my goodness, that is so true. I wish I wish somebody told me that when I was in my 20s. Seriously, put the phone down and go enjoy life for real.
Just go.
So you really did go to school for business, started a very successful business, and now you're working for somebody else, right?
Yep.
Okay. I really love that trajectory. How long do you think this is going to last, and like what's future projections for you?
I don't know. I'm really trying. I've kind of put my life into this new, I'm looking at life in a bit of a different way, and I'm trying to separate my life into chapters. And that chapter, my last chapter is closed, and now I'm really trying to like soak in and enjoy this one. And then at some point it'll close and there will be the next one. So right now, like I'm loving this growth period that this business is going through. So I get to watch all of the hardship, but I'm also coming in at a very lucky time where I think things are really going to take off over the next 2 years. So I'll get to see a lot of people, experience that for the first time. And yeah, so I don't know, I'm just soaking it in. Like I am enjoying this so much. I'm also learning a ton. This is a new industry for me. I've traveled a ton just personally, but getting into how the accommodations business works. And, it's a luxury market. I wasn't in luxury market before. So seeing all of that is really cool. And I'm being pushed to learn things and fail like a lot. A lot of my ideas get shut down. I'm like, okay, let's just keep going because I can't say, screw you, we're going with my idea X, my ideas. Nobody cares. Like, bad idea next, which is just good for learning. Like, I'm feeling like I'm stretching my brain out a little bit and it feels really good. So, no specific plans, but for right now, I'm loving where I'm living. I'm loving the people around me. So, I'm just going to try and, make this company as successful as I can and then see what God or whoever else upstairs has in store for me.
I love that. Okay, so when you were in the height of Just Live Social, you were incurring a lot of revenue, a lot of visibility, a lot of reach. You were a top name within Canada. What was a game changer for you while you were in that period that really helped you elevate into new levels of success?
Oh, you actually already have you said this. It's delegating. It's delegating. When
Okay.
things you will see this, especially if your business sells itself, which blessed if it does. Luckily, that happened to me. There wasn't really cold calling going on. Like it was just selling, selling, selling. We're getting so many submissions. So I would go do the pitches, and I have my right hand man Sawyer with me all the time doing these pitches, my COO at the time. And me and her would go, and then we would try and close, activate, and kind of bring everybody on by ourselves. And we had a whole team. Like there were people to do this, but something about I just had the need to like handhold every client. And the second that I gave away basically full will, like I had one job, it was to take that initial call, close in the big boardroom, go home, drink some champagne, and then start over. Like that is my job. I do not touch anything else. And that is when things started to really, really, really do well. And also taking care of the accounting. I've been to so many conferences, like women in business conferences, just in general business conferences, where people ask a lot of these questions. And something that I don't think that comes up enough is stuff about finance. You need to be more financially literate. And I think, again, even with a degree, I didn't know as much as I thought I did. And spending time with accountants, talking to people take a college course, take a 1 hour a week college course. And, college courses are a lot more applicable than university courses. So, do something like that. Those skills, like really when I started to focus in on the financials and being able to delegate those two skills changed my business completely. Like we were able to scale and stay up with it, which is just huge.
It is a huge narrative that's happening right now, especially amongst clients and within rooms on empowering women with financial literacy and teaching them how their money can make money for them. So
Huge.
those women that are listening that are women in business, QuickBooks, huge, connect everything to QuickBooks, right? Second one, yeah, like QuickBooks for the win. It's $54 a month. Second one is definitely get a bookkeeper. Third, absolutely have an accountant. And fourth, like have a financial planner. They just make life so much easier for you. Like, here's my money. What do I do with it? Just go to them and have them speak their expertise and their strategy into you. That's a really big deal.
I think
So,
it's scary finances though. Like to be fair, it's terrifying. I remember the first few times I went into an accountant because my dad, after our first like $200,000, my dad was like, "You need to maybe not do your taxes by yourself." I'm like, "All right, sure." So I went in and I remember crying my eyes out like 4 meetings in a row because these guys are like, "You're stupid for doing this. You don't understand." And they were using such large terminology that just made no sense to me. And I felt stupid and they were upset because I hadn't incorporated yet, but I couldn't really afford to do like the $2,000 to, or like I didn't want to spend it. It was just, it's confusing. And then I found an accountant that I looked at him and said, like, talk to me like I am an absolute idiot. And he just did. And that was the best. So if you can try and do that with your accountant, it may help. Some people spew it at you and you're just like, I don't know. And then you don't know how much you should be paying them. Some people overcharge, like just a nightmare. Be a nightmare.
it is. Incorporation is probably like the number one thing I tell all my one-to-one clients to get into, whether it's a bricks and mortars or solo entrepreneurship, like
Right.
just do it. Literally invest the 2,000 right up front, because if anything ever happens, then they can't sue you on a personal level, right? They can't take your house and your car and your office and
Fail. Yeah. Yeah.
2,000 is worth it. Yeah. Push it on over.
It's worth it. It makes your taxes a little more complicated, but again, you're going to be paying anyway. Just make more money. Go out and get it. There's enough success in the world for everybody. Go get that money. Pay for your corporation.
So for people listening right now, because you are quite literally like a social media PR kind of guru, what's some advice that you can give to women who just need a little bit more reach and visibility, whether it's on socials or TikToks or any other, I would say, platform or outlet that they can get that kind of exposure? What's some advice for them?
I think there's a few things that you can do that we're kind of seeing. We're seeing some major, major changes in the market. I mean, 2 days ago, we just had Trudeau mention the banning of TikTok offices in Canada, which is nuts, which I worry that, things might really start to change in terms of what we're allowed to see, all those types of moderation things for social media, which is nuts. But I think if, you're watching the trends, there's been a few major things that I'll mention. First off, if you're a product-based or service-based company, do not do the macro influencer thing anymore. I'm so against it, and this is a hot topic. I think anybody over like 10,000 followers right now is just like we're seeing right through it. There's no authentic stuff going on. And the sales are not there. Like we probably 6 or 7 months ago had an influencer campaign. It was like $22,000 for 2 posts. Zero ROI. Zero. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And it was well thought out, it was planned, it was strategized, and it's just not working. So, don't spend your last dime trying to get this big influencer to post your stuff because it's not going to work. I think a really good alternative is paying these amazing user-generated content, these UGC people on the internet to create content for you. Again, find them on Fiverr. There's UGC groups on Facebook. There's UGC groups on Threads, Instagram, like all these different places. Find a good creator that can make fabulous content for your business. If it's, a product, you can send it to them. If not, invite them in, strategize it, and then have someone run ads with it. That will be so much more bang for your buck than, I personally am not a big SEO person. I don't know that it's, as effective as it used to be. The macro influencers is not going to work anymore. And also just don't throw your ad money into random shit. Like that's a waste of money. Again, Fiverr, or find somebody that's not going to charge you an arm and a leg, or will take a percentage of your sales so they're incentivized. That's a good way to really grow your reach, because we're not seeing, like, you can't just post a photo of your toe on TikTok anymore and get 1 million views. It's becoming a lot more competitive. Also, make sure you're using all of the amenities, I will call them, of social media. So if you're on TikTok, they have a new application now that's like Threads. Use Threads for Instagram, use X, use Snapchat. Like, these companies that are starting to see a decline in use as well, like Snapchat, for example, will push your content if it's good. Use YouTube Shorts and, provide value. Like, stop trying to copy what your next door neighbor's doing because it got 1 million views. Like, just keep pushing out content, and try and figure out what your consumer wants to see. If you own a salon, like, I don't want to see some hot girl running around, making jokes about something. I want to see her work, or I want to see, like, the owner. I want to see things that, will make me want to purchase from you. So try and kind of use that equity standpoint, change your brain, put it, your foot in the other person's shoe, and figure out what they would want to see in order to buy your product. Yeah, I could talk about this for hours, but those are kind of some of the main things that I think people are missing. Just being aware of, like, what's going on, and keep an eye on those social trends. Like, there's TikTok releases newsletters every day. They have massive shareholders documents that go out that really, like, deeply explain what you need to do in order to have your content shared more. So just keep an eye out. Don't just post stuff and hope it works. Like, have strategy behind things and have a reason for doing everything.
And also find out where your user base is located, as opposed to trying to post on everything, right? I think a lot of
Yes.
people get into this game and they're like, I have to be everywhere, but they're actually serving nobody at the same time. So
Yeah.
figure out where they are, saturate them with education, information, and knowledge, and just serve them. That's why ICAs are so important, is because you can get really lost in trying to be everything to everyone. Yeah, for sure. I love that. I love that. And yeah, macro and micro influencers, it's such a pivot, right? And I say this in the coaching industry too, is that there is this big turnaround right now with who is being highlighted in the top coaching positions, female, executive, and male, because I think we're getting tired of seeing the fake. We're just saturated with, people that are getting paid to tell us what they like. Well, how about we lead with authenticity and, like, vulnerability, like conversations like this, because that's actually what people are really thirsty for, is that true connection.
Thank
So
God we're going back to the asking your neighbor for a cup of sugar stuff. Like, we should be taking advice from our micro people, from the people we trust and actually value the opinions of, not these influencers who are making like $20,000 to $50,000 a post if they're over 100K. Like, these people are making money. So do not believe what they're talking about. And I'm sorry to all of my post influencers. But it's, we gotta, as a business owner, be aware, especially if you don't have that much revenue or capital to play around with. Like, it's not usually going to be worth your time.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. Have you, when you were at the peak of your career and literally looking around and being like, wow, I'm actually making it, what kind of limiting beliefs or fears were surrounding you at that moment, and how did you deal with them?
Constant fear of letting the team down, I think, was a huge thing. And as salaries get bigger and as your team gets bigger, I just had this, like, terrified thing that some of our contracts, and I'm always the person, I don't like if a client's really not happy with the work I'm doing and they're in a 2-year contract, I will break it. I don't really care. And if that means that money has to come out of my pocket, I will, I'll value that. So I think that was just terrifying to me. I was scared and I don't know why. I just had this terrifying feeling that everyone was going to, I think it's the imposter syndrome, which we talk about a ton of. I was just scared that everyone was going to understand that this business was like a big sham and that I'm Anna Delvey and that they were all just going to leave and disappear, which is just like, what the hell are you thinking? Like you're not that smart. You're not, you're not smart enough to scam that many people into something. What are you? You're adding value. People are making money. Why would this ever happen? But it's this thought of like, what the hell am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. You freak out, and just that was such a big fear for me. And it makes no sense. It still makes no sense. I'm sure it'll continue to happen to me, but yeah, that was huge for me. That was just such a weird, like, I'd wake up sometimes and be panicked that like I was going to wake up to 1,000 emails of like, we're done, and then it would all go under. But if it does, like, guess what? If you make it once, you can make it 10 times over. It's the same pattern. So
Yeah, that is so true, right? If we had the kind of knowledge we did today 10 years ago, that wealth would come a lot faster and more instantly. So, and I feel like that fear of not being good enough or that imposter syndrome is something that every single woman and man, every single entrepreneur out there can relate to, because it's even when we get success and it's earned, we're still like, is this for me? Will this last? Like, am I good enough? So I love that you said that, because they probably look at you and they're like, oh, she has everything, strategically planned out, and, success comes easy to her, or all of the other, marketing terms, but they forget that we are products of our marketing, so
yes.
when we take it off, we're real at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
So to wrap this up, our signature "She Wears the Pants" question. Looking back on your journey of wearing the pants, what message do you want to relay for future generations of women in business?
I've touched on quite a few things that I want to leave with women, but young girls specifically. I think that it's really important that people are aware of how much opportunity lies in this world. That's kind of okay. That's the point that I will finish off with. I had a client of mine one time say, actually in like Burlington, like great little spot. And I was over there and we were talking for a few hours after a meeting. And she said, there is enough success in the world. And you've probably heard me say that a few times because I say it all the time. There's enough success in the world for everybody to be successful. And if we stop trying to steal success from everybody else, we would realize that. And I think that's so, so disgustingly valuable.
Yep.
If we stop looking at all the other girls, like when I go to a conference, do you know how many other women there are that run digital marketing firms or that are doing consulting services, or, there's so many people competing, and we think we're competing for the same clients, but we're not. Like, there is enough success. There are billions and billions and trillions of dollars out there in this world. Go get it. If you want it, go get it. No one is going to stop you except for yourself. And if they are, this is a beautiful hurdle that's been put in your way. Jump the hell over it and keep going. There is enough success out there. You don't need to beat down other women to get there. You don't need to beat down other men to get there. Just go out, be kind, and kick ass and go get it.
I love that. Okay, so for the people that now want to follow your journey, your growth, your new adventures that will be coming up in the upcoming years, where can they follow you? Where can they find you, follow you?
Well, if you guys want to check out my new company, we are Top Tier travel on Instagram. And then my personal Instagram is Travel with Livy with 2 I's, Livii. And then my personal, and I'm totally unhinged now because I'm no longer a boss, is Kearney. So feel free to follow along, guys. Yeah, it's been a journey, and I'm just so excited about what's going to come over the next few years.
Me too. You are such a breath of fresh air, and I really appreciate you just
Oh,
coming
me
in here,
too. You, thank you.
sharing all your energy. So thank you so much for being here, my love.
Oh, of course. Thanks for having me.
This was She Wears the Pants, where women rise into what they're meant to hold. If this episode moved you, changed you, or challenged you, send it to a woman you want to see rise. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. And if you're ready for deeper strategy, identity expansion, and high-level support, you can find me on Instagram at Ashley Deland. Until next time, keep leading boldly, building intentionally, and becoming the woman your calling requires.